These are WORX playing cards. What up, crew? As I said in the intro like 15 seconds ago, today we're going to be taking a look at these WORX playing cards by Card Cuts, designed by Mateusz Kral, and I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. This deck is printed on a thin crushed stock with a linen finish and manufactured by the United States Playing Card Company. At first glance, this deck looks so nice and sleek, especially in that dark gray color, so let's go ahead and take a deeper dive. The main artwork of the tuck case is located right here on the front, and you can see that it looks kind of like two different work tools, one in a green and one in a red color. The green one actually has a club and a spade on it, while the red one has a heart and a diamond, which kind of makes sense. Heart and diamond for red. It all makes sense. And then of course you see the letters WORX, and you know that this tuck case just works. Sorry, I couldn't resist the pun. I had to go for it. The back of this tuck case is actually very clean as well, and on the bottom of it you can see again WORX, WORX. And now looking at the left and right side along with the top of the tuck case, you can see all the sides are blank, which really just draws all the attention right to the front of the tuck case. And then on the bottom you see all that info that I talked about earlier. I gotta say, it's nice and simple, which I love. Now let's go ahead and open these up. Popping open the tuck case and looking at the back of the cards, you can see that it differs from the front of the tuck case, but it still stays in that same design realm. And of course this is great because the front of the tuck case was actually a one-way design, and now this is a two-way design, which I would way rather prefer. The ad cards that come with this deck aren't really anything to brag about. The first one is a navy blue, dark navy blue Card Cuts ad card. It just says Card Cuts right there. I mean, I love the color, but nothing too crazy on that end. And the other one is actually just a lighter version of the back design, which honestly, I think this looks kind of cool. Looking at the jokers is when I feel like the real 3D design comes into view. So instead of seeing like the flat design that you're used to seeing, this deck is really unique for offering a 3D type design. But they're not actually 3D. Don't get that confused. You cannot put on 3D glasses and view them in 3D. They're just a 3D design in 2D paper. Let's just clarify that. Like I was saying, this deck comes with two duplicate jokers that have a green and red star on them with some gears on the inside. Looking at the Ace of Spades, it's not at all what you're used to seeing. The shape of the spade is still there, but it's done in a very different new way with metal and gears. And in fact, all of the aces are done in a similar fashion. Going through the cards now, we can see that they come in regular new deck order, but the pips and indices are different than what we usually expect in a bicycle deck. The black on these cards, of course, is a regular black, but the indices are actually in a different and thinner font. And what's really different is the pip. The spades and clubs no longer have the stems on the bottom, and all the pips are actually just a little bit wider. And now taking a look at the red cards, you can see that the color red is actually a little bit darker, and again, as I mentioned, the index font is different. The main center pips are also now in that 3D version of the suit, and you can see that they're actually in different formations than what we expected from the bicycle deck. And one thing that I realized after going through all this is that all the face cards are one-way designs, which I'm not a super fan of, but the corner indices are still two ways, so I can take a little bit of comfort there. I feel okay. The face cards are also different now. You can see they no longer have faces, but simply the letter of J, Q, or K in that cool metal and gear design. So overall, a very nice design, and I like how it varies from what we're used to seeing on regular playing cards. In terms of handling, as I mentioned, it's a thin crushed stock and printed by the USPCC. So right out of the box, they actually came out handling very nicely. Like, I was thinking I'd have to play with these cards a little bit to break in the deck, but I didn't have to do that at all here. So I would 100% recommend these for cardistry, card magic, and of course, card games. Now, of course, one of my favorite parts when conducting a deck review, talking about the secrets or if the deck provides anything extra. After sitting there for about 10 minutes and going through each card, I really didn't find any secrets or anything that I found to be super unique aside from the 3D design that I already talked about earlier. Just winding down with a couple of my final thoughts here. What did I like about the deck? I really love the simplicity and the focus of the tuck case. The back design is also fantastic. It matches with like a third of my clothing. Like, look at that. Matches with like a third of my clothing, which is great. And I actually like what they did with the corner pips and indices. And then, of course, the handling out of the box was just right on point. So now what would I do differently? I would have put some type of reveal on one of the cards and maybe have the gears on the back of the cards turn as I riffle through the deck like this. I think that would have been really cool. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Card Cuts actually did that with a deck release right before this deck, the Neoterics. So definitely check that out too. Another thing I would do differently is I would also provide an ad card that would be useful for Magic, such as a double backer or a duplicate. And then lastly, I would have a two-way design for the faces because I just feel like that would look so much better. I'm just not a huge fan of one-way designs. And for me, going through this deck, honestly, it was a little confusing between hearts and spades since neither of them have any kind of differentiating factor aside from which way they're facing and the color. So I would have probably preferred a little bit of differentiation on that. But aside from that, that's pretty much all that I really changed about this deck. And again, maybe you don't agree with this, but that's just personally what I would do. Now, I can't end this video without giving a huge shout out to Card Cuts for sending me this deck. Those guys are awesome. I'll put a link to their website in the description, so go make sure and check them out. And you know what? Should I do this? I really wasn't planning on doing this, but Card Cuts did send me an extra deck right here. So what I'll be doing is for all my Underground Club members, you guys will be put into a giveaway and one of you guys will win this extra WORX deck from me. All right. So that being said, make sure you guys go and check out Card Cuts. Those guys are awesome. And make sure to join the Underground Club for a chance to win this. Is that all I got? Oh, wait, I got it. Get this deck because it just works. Yep, I'm leaving now. Yep.